Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I'm just seeing if one of my colleagues is going to be joining us today, failing which, as I say, we will just carry on and tell you all about it. So let's get started. If you are new to Wheel and Anchor and you have not participated in our webinars before and you are not sure what we're all about, let me just say a few words about our community, our organization. Our mission is to bring travelers together from all across Canada for experiences as a way to connect people who just like to travel and who like to travel in a way that is sort of consistent with our Wheel and Anchor philosophy. That is the way that we the way that we have in common about exploring the world, about respecting local culture, about learning as we go, and all these philosophies. And we've managed a great strides in the last couple of years since we started to be able to really bring people from all across Canada, from different walks of life. Some people have traveled a lot. Some people are new to traveling and are really just getting started, but we all again have that in common, that sense of of adventure and exploration, and as I say, at the same time with a soft touch in terms of how we interact with the people that we meet along the way. So that's just a little bit about our philosophy here at Wheel and Anchor, and of course our mission is to have you become well-traveled and well-connected. And a LiveAway, as an example, is really a great and a unique way to do that, because we spend more time. Our LiveAway programs, which I'll tell you a little bit how they work, allow you to a combination of doing things at your own pace, as well as participating in the activities and excursions that we organize for you. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. We have a lot of people, and we have a LiveAway on the go here in Koh Samui, Thailand right now. In fact, we're just transitioning from the second group of this year to the third group. People have said to me, they said they really appreciate the curated programs that we put together, but the fact that there's time to do your own thing, to meet lots of people, both Wheel and Anchor people that are on the trip together, as well as those that are staying in the same hotel, or that you might meet while you're going out on excursions. And again, this is the mission, just like these two little guys here that you see in the picture, who are residents of Pig Island, one of the places that we visit on our Koh Samui LiveAway. So before we continue on, I just want to introduce the team. First of all, my name is Gordon Drager. I am the founder of Wheel and Anchor. I am also the curator of all of the programs that we have on offer here. But of course, I couldn't do that without a wonderful team of colleagues, most notably those who you will come in contact with if you are interested in joining one of our programs. Paula Zarnick, who's with us today on the webinar. Good morning, Paula, and her colleague,
Hello.
Barb, who are the two wonderful women that do the heavy lifting, as it were, of making sure that all of our members get their questions answered, get booked up on our tours, and come and join us year after year. So, and there's of course a whole bunch more of our colleagues who are in the back end doing all of the operations, all the administration work, not to mention our amazing team of hosts that accompany you on our different tours. So today, as is usual with all of our webinars, we're going to be talking to you as people who are interested in doing something maybe a little bit different than you normally do next winter. And I know this has been not exactly the most lovely of winters in many parts of Canada. It's probably making you go, what might I do differently next year? And this is the little bit of idea that we're going to give you. I'm going to take you on this little trip around Koh Samui, Thailand, which is where, as I say, a group of your fellow members currently are having a blast. I was with a bunch of members today And on that note, I just want to share with you a few photos that were literally taken over the last couple of weeks of, as I say, your fellow Wheel and Anchor members that have been having an absolutely grand time here. Contrary to the weather in Canada, it has been brilliant here. We've had sunny skies, warm weather, and lots of fun and laughter as we have explored this wonderful terrain, doing everything from, of course, all the beautiful beaches that Koh Samui and its islands have to offer. We've been visiting elephants in the wonderful sanctuary that they have on the island, and exploring a little bit about the neighboring islands. Like here, this is a photo taken on an excursion, not today's excursion, but we did this the same one today with a different group of people to the island of Koh Phangan, my home here in Thailand. Yeah, so many other things. We learned about how coconuts are harvested in Thailand using monkeys, still a tradition they've had here for many generations, and lots of fun. A shot here from our welcome dinner where we had some live music brought in all the way from Europe, and dancing and fun, as well as I say, of course, a lot of learning about Thailand's culture and its history, and Buddhism, which plays a huge part of the culture here. And this is maybe my favorite picture. This was literally taken about 2 hours ago. Some of the members decided at a little fun get-together that we were having that they were going to put on a little skit and a song, and this is what they came up with. So, you know, if you have any doubts about the fun that can be had, I think this picture is testament to what the kind of stuff that we get up to. We really do have a lot of laughs, a great time. So if that's what you think is up your alley, then you're certainly in the right place. Let me say a few words before I explain what the LiveAway program here in Thailand is all about. What are about our LiveAways in general. The idea was born from, you know, the many years that I've spent organizing travel for Canadians. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And while I was holed up here in Thailand over COVID, I started to really think about the types of trips that I've organized over the past few decades, how people travel, what people like, and, you know, what in the modern era, as it were, in the post-COVID era, how it is that we might like to travel. And this is where the LiveAway concept came up, where, you know, a lot of the feedback we've gotten from people is, you know, travel can be so tiring because, you know, a traditional tours are often very busy. You're, you know, in and out of hotels every day. And, you know, there just isn't the time to sort of stop and smell the roses, as it were. And so the idea here is that we have an extended stay. Our LiveAways typically are in 2-week blocks. Sometimes people stay a month. We have almost half the group here in Thailand is here for 4 weeks in total, and they are very glad they've done so. But by going for at least 2 weeks in one place and having the flexibility to choose from a palette of excursions that we provide, there is an activity credit that's built into the price of the program. So when you book a LiveAway trip, you know in advance that you're going to have the opportunity to create your own experience. So some people are like, yeah, if I go and travel to a place, I want to do a few things, but I want to do more exploring on my own. So you might book 2 or 3 excursions with us and spend the rest of the time exploring on your own. Other people are like, no, I want to do everything. I want to be shown all the great things that we have in store. And so they'll book multiple trips. And so we can adjust then the final price based on the pace that you'd like to travel at. So that's sort of the concept with LiveAways. Also, we've designed them so that you can combine 2 together. So for example, here in Southeast Asia, we offer Koh Samui, this one here in Thailand. We also have our new yoga and wellness program that we're actually just in the process of slightly tweaking. We had a marvelous time these past 2 weeks with a group of people who have experienced a little bit of a different approach to wellness here on the island of Koh Phangan. So that's a program that many of them combined with Koh Samui. We have an upcoming LiveAway in Bali, Indonesia. So you could spend, for example, a couple of weeks in Koh Samui with another week here, with a couple of weeks in Bali, and other LiveAways to come. We also operate our LiveAway programs in the Mediterranean area of Europe, as well as the Atlantic. We have some wonderful places like Madeira. We have Cyprus, Malta, for example, are some of the places that we do in Southern Europe during the winter time, where the weathers are mild. They're not tropical hot like here in Southeast Asia. But for those people, and I know a lot of Canadians, they like mild temperatures, but they're not necessarily ready to come to a very warm tropical country like Thailand. And so we have all these other destinations and more that we are going to be offering next year, and that will be released in the upcoming weeks. So again, concept is similar. 2 weeks at a time in one spot, combinable with other destinations. So you can go away for 4, 6, 8 weeks. We've had members that have been with us literally for almost the whole winter, and a flexible program of activities and excursions that allows you to create the experience that you want. So that's how our LiveAway programs work. Let's talk about Koh Samui now. Here in Thailand, and I'm just going to give you the quick geography lesson, as it were. Thailand, of course, a country here in Southeast Asia that is adjacent to Cambodia, which you'll find to the east, Myanmar, Burma, which is to the west, and Malaysia to the south, Thailand, which, on the world map looks small in comparison to Canada, but it's actually still quite a large country. In fact, Bangkok, which is the capital, and one of the stops on our pre-tour to Koh Samui, is about 700 kilometers north of the islands that are here in the Gulf of Thailand. So Thailand is bisected. So this is the Isthmus of Thailand. Here that you see in light green, you have the Andaman Sea, otherwise known as the Indian Ocean, here to the west. And on this side, you have the Gulf of Thailand, and nestled in here is the island of Koh Samui, as well as its neighboring islands of Koh Phangan and Koh Tao. The island of Koh Samui, it's the second largest island in Thailand. And, it's about, if you were to drive all the way around it, it's about 60 kilometers, probably would take you about an hour or so. So it's a good size island. And the area that we stay here is in the heart of sort of the touristic center, in an area called Chaweng, not far from the airport. It's a big, long, sandy beach. It's about 3 or 4 kilometers long. And we have a lovely spot I'm going to show you in just a minute where we stay. And from here, we can access various points on the island. We do trips up into the mountains in the middle. We do excursions to the marine park called Ang Thong, which is about an hour away by speedboat, as well as, of course, to Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, and a bunch of other programs. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Our chosen accommodation, which our guests have, I can thankfully say, given us rave reviews about, is, as I say, right in the heart of the Chaweng district of Koh Samui. So when you walk into the hotel, it's all designed with beautiful Thai architecture, sort of very classic architecture. And right down the middle of the hotel, it is like a jungle scene that you see here before you arrive at the beach. And this is the beach called Chaweng, as I just said, of Koh Samui. So you can see the soft sand looking out onto the sea, and the hotel, which of course has a big, beautiful, natural shaped swimming pool that runs down the middle, and has an incredible Thai charm. When you walk out onto the street, you're in the middle of all of the action restaurants and cafes and bars and shopping, all kinds of things to do. But it is like an oasis in the middle of all of this activity. The suites that we have here are very generously sized. In fact, this is the smallest one available, a so-called Grand Deluxe Garden View suite. You get a taste of the architecture from these rooms. The floors are, the rooms are all done in very warm wood colors, and again, with a lot of Thai inspiration and design, giving just a wonderful feel. And again, I can't say how delighted our members have been with the rooms at the hotel. We have different categories, right up to a royal suite, which is something like 70 square meters or over 700 square feet of living area. So a very, very comfortable place to hang your hat for a couple of weeks or longer. And of course, our sea view suites have their own plunge pools. So great amenities. And of course, a full restaurant with breakfast on the beach and a spa on top of everything. What would you do when you are on these couple of weeks on our LiveAway in Koh Samui? Well, as I say, we have a whole barrage of activities that we've honed since last year when we first ran this program. And among our favorite things to do include a visit to the so-called Ang Thong Marine Park. This is a natural archipelago of about 30 islands that is about an hour away, protected paradise. Where you can do snorkeling, visit remote beaches, and also climb up to viewpoints like the one from where this photo is taken from. So this is one of the top-rated excursions, top things to do, and we do it, of course, by our own private speedboat in comfort along the way. We'll take in some of the culture of Thailand as well by visiting the very ornate temples that Samui has. In fact, some people commented that they thought that the temples here in Koh Samui were even more spectacular the ones that they saw in Bangkok. It's perhaps because they're a little bit more compact than the big ones up there. So you can see them sort of all at one glance. And we also take time to spend time with some of the monks and learn a little bit about Thai culture, religion, and Buddhism and what that's all about. We also make a little trip by Longtail, one of a couple of different Longtail trips we have to visit what's called Pig Island, where there's a whole barrage of pigs that were brought and sort of enjoy the beach, much like many of the beachgoers do. So it's kind of a fun activity. We do another boat trip as well to a neighboring island called Koh Tao. This is the dive capital of Thailand, but you don't have to be a diver to enjoy the beaches here and one of the best coral gardens, which is just off the little islet of Koh Nang Yuan that you see here. And again, a very favorite excursion of ours. We also take a group out or groups to do a sunset by catamaran where you can enjoy some how shall we say, some libations with your fellow members under the beautiful sunsets that we regularly get here in Thailand at this time of the year. We also, of course, go out and visit some of the agricultural aspects of Koh Samui. It's one of the most important coconut producing areas in Thailand. In fact, the island has over 1 million coconut palm trees. And so we see how these treasured coconuts are harvested and processed into the coconut water that many of us buy off the shelves at home. If you ever look at a Tetra Pak of coconut water at home, you'll see that it's most likely comes from Thailand because of the high quality of coconuts that we have. It goes without saying that the food here is extraordinary. Anybody that's had that chance to go to Thailand will attest that you can pretty much go into any restaurant in Thailand, even if it's a little sort of side of the road type place, and the Thai food is generally more exquisite than what you can find in any Thai restaurant back home, of course, because we have all of the fresh local ingredients and herbs and spices. And we have a great little spot, a little organic farm on the island that we visit and learn how to make some of these delectable dishes. And I know that a lot of our members have taken the recipes home and will be practicing them back home. Of course, the nightlife and entertainment is a big part of the scene in Thailand with the cabaret show, where you get to see, as they call them locally, the lady boys perform an extravagant dance that is a lot of fun, always good for laughs, and one of the many things that one can get up to in the evening hours. We also do some things that are a little bit out of the ordinary for tourists. We have this visit to a place called Honey Rose, where they produce out of local herbs and flowers a whole array of products, personal care products and bath products and soaps and you name it. And this is one of those tours that people sign up for, and they comment to me at the beginning of the trip. They said, I don't even know what it is that they sign up for, but after they come back, they say, wow, that's one of the best activities and excursions that I've taken part in. So we like to throw in a few ones that get good reviews from our members, even if you don't exactly know what it is that you're getting into, because, you know, the surprise factor is a big part of our trips. The island that I reside on, where I'm actually broadcasting this webinar to you from today, is called Koh Phangan, and is I may be biased in saying this, but it's one of the most beautiful islands in Thailand because of its large expanse of protected forest and beautiful coastline. So a tour that we did literally today that just ended a few hours ago takes us around part of this island by longtail boat, exploring some beaches, having some fantastic food for lunch, and really getting a taste for what the tropical seaside is like here in Thailand. We go up to the mountain in Samui on a 4x4 Jeep tour that takes us up to the highest peaks, where you have a view out, looking out to the Ang Thong Park from a distance, as well as to the wonderful coastline of Koh Samui. And there's some a fascinating Buddha statue park that's up at the top of the mountain, among other very special places that we visit, touring around the peaks of the island. So that just gives you a little bit of a flavor of some of the things that we do on our LiveAway here in Thailand. As I say, about half of our members that have come down here have done either our pre-program to Chiang Mai and Bangkok, or they've stayed for a month. And, you know, a few members are in total here for about 8 weeks between the pre-tour and coming for our main program in Koh Samui, as well as continuing on then to Bali for another couple of weeks. So again, it's a popular thing. If you're going to come all this way, and let's face it, Thailand isn't exactly around the corner. It is a bit of a hike. So if you're going to come down here, you know, why not spend a longer period of time and learn a little bit about what this place is all about. So our pre-trip to Bangkok, and there's 2 of them, we have them either before the first Koh Samui LiveAway 2-week segment, or the second 2-week segment takes in both Bangkok and Chiang Mai. And I'll just give you an overview of what that's all about. You arrive in Bangkok, which is thankfully now connected directly from Canada on a flight that goes from Vancouver to Bangkok nonstop. But there are a number of other connections. In fact, our members have quite favored EVA Airways out of Taiwan, which has excellent service and allows you to fly with one stop via Taipei to Bangkok. And here we visit one of the Southeast Asia's most important metropolises, and we check into this beautiful spot, a great little, again, another little oasis in the middle of the big city called the Anantara Riverside, which is right on the main, the river of Bangkok, called the Chao Phraya. And here again, you're in and amongst palm trees and a massive swimming pool. And it's from here that we can explore the city, but be in absolute comfort in this very opulent and comfortable hotel that again, our members have given us rave reviews about. We go out and explore some of the main highlights of the city. Of course, the Grand Palace, the home of King Rama the 10th, who is currently reigning here in Thailand, and his incredible residence, the Grand Palace, as well as the neighboring Wat Arun, Wat meaning temple, and the Arun temple is one of the favorite destinations. And again, it's just a must-see while you're here in Bangkok. We'll spend a day as well venturing a little bit out into the suburbs of Bangkok. Of course, it's a huge city of over 10 million people, and we'll visit the floating market that'll give us a little bit of a taste of how the locals distribute their wares to both locals and tourists alike. So it's a lot of fun in little longtail boats cruising around, and you can buy souvenirs or taste some tasty treats. And we also visit on this day the Mai Klong Railway Market, which is the one you might have seen like in National Geographic or on a Netflix, where they have a market that is all laid out amongst the railway tracks, and then the train comes in and everybody sort of dashes to the side to make way for the train. We had a lot of fun this year, as we have in previous years. So a couple of days in Bangkok, and then we fly up to Chiang Mai. It's only about an hour away. Chiang Mai is the cultural capital of Thailand, a beautiful, beautiful city that was designed as a perfect square, and we give you a great insight into the history of why it was done that way, just like some of the other ancient cities in Southeast Asia. We spent 4 nights up in Chiang Mai to get a taste of this amazing city, staying right in the center of the old town at a great spot we identified this year for the first time, called the Buri Ratana. In fact, one of our members said to me he thought it was the nicest hotel he'd ever stayed in. So again, very comfortable quarters for our time to explore the city of Chiang Mai and its environs. We created a different tour this year that sort of was a departure from the usual touristy ones that you often find in Chiang Mai. And some of the highlights were the coffee farm out at Kun Lao. So our members, when I accompanied this trip just a couple of weeks ago, were really in awe as we drove out into the countryside, and it seemed like we were going into the middle of nowhere, and we were, I think, the only ones there, and we were taken around by the head of the village, which was the first sustainable coffee plantation in Thailand, where the coffee beans are grown in amongst the forest. So a truly sustainable plantation was really, really amazing. Our guests truly enjoyed that experience. We also visit the famous Doi Sutep, which is a golden temple that overlooks the city, as well as also a forest temple that we visit on the way back into Chiang Mai. So we get a taste of the environs, and at the same time also visit some of the artists and actually participate in making some crafts from the Lana tradition. That is the peoples that sort of have settled the area for the last couple of centuries. So all in all, an amazing insight into northern Thailand and all of the culture that you have. So it's a great little way to get an introduction to Thailand before our LiveAway in Koh Samui. We will also be featuring next year our Koh Phangan Yoga and Wellness Program. We're actually going to change the name of this a little bit because after this incredible 2 weeks that we've spent here, and they're just wrapping up in a couple of days' time, they determined it's not really a yoga retreat because we don't do yoga all day long, and it's not really a wellness because although we do some wellness activities, it is really more of a holistic sort of a mind, body, and soul program. We'll be sharing some testimonials with you from our members that have participated in it and have had truly rave reviews about this experience, if not for the yoga and the wellness components, but also because of the dining, which has completely blown everybody's minds. We've had some incredible meals, the likes of which you'd be hard pressed to find in Canada, let alone on a tropical island in Thailand. So stay tuned for details on that as we make some revisions to what we call this program and how we explain what exactly it is, and we'll be releasing that in a couple of weeks' time. So let me conclude this by giving you a little bit of the logistical information about this program. Of course, our program itinerary is now available, and we'll have far more details about all of the aspects of this trip and the various accommodation types, the room types that you can book. But just to give you a sense of what we're all about, for our 2-week program, you're looking at price points here of around $5,000, and depending on the category that you book, from our Grand Deluxe Garden View Suites up to our Royal Sea View Suites, bookable in both double and single occupancy. And you'll see here that actually the premium for a single is relatively modest, thanks to some tough negotiating we've done with the hotel, so that our solo traveler members can enjoy it without being hit too much by the much despised single supplements. If you stay for a whole month, we can extend even better savings to you. So if you see here that the price to stay for 4 weeks is a lot less than the 2-week price times 2. So of course, all these details again in our program itinerary. I won't list off all of the inclusions now, but you can see a lot is included, including the activity credit that I mentioned. your transportation. We have a welcome dinner, which is a lot of fun, a cocktail reception, and we provide a SIM card. And of course, there's a host available throughout your trip to make sure that you have the best possible time in Thailand. Our Bangkok and Chiang Mai programs, again, there's two of them that precede both the first and the second Koh Samui program are available here. And that includes your accommodation, your guiding, your domestic airfare from Bangkok to Chiang Mai and from Chiang Mai to Koh Samui, and all of the other details that you see here. So the only thing, of course, that we arrange separately from our main tour program is airfare, which we are happy to help you facilitate. And if you're going to stay a little bit longer or arrive earlier, the transfers for those would be in addition, as well as, of course, cancellation and travel medical insurance that we highly, highly recommend. So it's about time to do our questions and answers. Of course, if you sign up early, as many of our members this year did, we're able to extend a savings from the hotel that we pass on to you of a couple of $100. So our early booking bonus for $200 for the Koh Samui LiveAway program itself, if you sign up for this trip for next year before the end of March. And this trip did almost sell out this year. And next year we're going to be offering 2 times 2 weeks. And so I imagine it will sell fairly quickly. So if you are interested in going, please consider signing up a bit earlier and taking advantage of that early booking bonus. So I'm about to take some questions from our members about the program. Anything that you'd like to know that would be of interest to our general membership, now is the time to pose your questions. So if you want to type those into the chat box or into the Q&A box, and I'll address any questions, Paula, that have come in so far.
Yes, Ingrid is asking us, how do we connect this with the Bali dates?
Yeah, so the Bali dates are immediately following this program. So if you wanted to go to Bali, you could go for either 2 weeks in Koh Samui on the second set of dates, and then immediately fly down to Bali. And then you could stay 2 weeks in Bali or 4 weeks in Bali. And the same thing, you could do 2 weeks in Thailand or 4 weeks in Thailand. So there's various combinations, but the two programs are back to back.
Yes, and many members do tend to take advantage of that when they're making the trip over there to maximize their time and see a bit more of the region.
For sure.
I've got another question here from Roseanne. She's asking are all the excursions available during the 2-week stay? Do you want to touch on how we do that?
Yeah, so we make all of the programs available for a 2-week stay. And of course, the excursions are assume a minimum number of people signing up. But to my knowledge, Paul, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we were able to operate every single excursion that everybody asked for. I don't know that any were canceled this year.
I think on the Thailand and Bali ones, we tend to, because the trips have pretty much did fill up, there was enough interest for each of the excursions to run in each of the destinations. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll preempt this question that may have come in from one of our members, but on the LiveAway programs, we generally have sort of between 20 to 26 members during each 2-week segment, sometimes a little bit less, but never more. We've decided, based on experience from past year's trips, to limit the number of participants at 26. But what that means is most of our excursions, the ones that are done by land, so like our 4x4 excursion and our Agra tour, as well as our visits to various points around the island, are done in a single van, which holds up to about 8 members and our local guide, which means that the trip will be operated more than once. So we only need like 6 or 7 people on any given excursion for it to run, which means it's going to happen, and it's going to happen more than once during the 2 or 4 weeks that you're there. So to answer the question, you can absolutely sign up for all the excursions. They're made available during all of the time that's there. So I mean, there's a small chance that something that you would want to do might not be available, but again, I think everybody has pretty much gotten everything that they wanted.
I think so as well. And I think that's really important for members to know. So even though the total group size is in the low to mid 20s, the excursions operate at a smaller group size. So we
Correct.
still, which has been a great success. And yeah, the popular runs are running 2 or 3 times throughout the month usually. So
Precisely.
fantastic. Thank you. I have a couple questions from Anne Marie that have come in with regards to what is needed for a visa and any immunizations
Yeah.
mandatory that you want
Okay.
to touch
So
on.
for those who sign up for just a 2-week program or even a 4-week program, you can stay in Thailand without any visa or documentation for up to 30 days. Of course, a number of members have done the pre-tour to Bangkok and Chiang Mai and then come for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and some even longer. So if you stay longer than 30 days, there is a relatively straightforward e-visa that is available online that will allow you to get a 60-day visa for Thailand. At last check, I think it was about 40 or 50 bucks, Paula, if I'm not mistaken, or it was in that range in any event. And as I say, you can apply for that online. You do need to do that a little bit on the early side, preferably about 5-6 weeks in advance. But I know that our members and myself as well have done that, and it's not a problem. As far as immunizations, there are none required for Thailand. Of course, depending on your own personal sort of medical situation, and it's always good to have a discussion with your personal physician as to what they might suggest. But I can tell you, I've been coming to Thailand for 10 years regularly. This is my home. I personally don't take anything at all as far as shots. There's no malaria here. So that's a little bit up to you. And again, as far as immunizations, we do strongly suggest that you have a consultation with a pragmatic physician or medical clinic and get some advice about that, about what's necessary.
Perfect. I'll add on there as well that we have an additional information document for any of our trips where we do link and detail out the visa and health requirements. So we give the link for the location to apply for the visa, whether you're doing the under 30 or over 30-day stay. And then always list if anything's mandatory inoculation wise. Otherwise, as Gordon mentioned, consult for recommendations with someone who specializes in that. Another question here from Anne Marie was asking with regards to any sporting activities other than beach walking. Golf and tennis was thrown around. I know I'll let you, if you want to share about it.
Sure, I'll share, but you
Gordon.
can obviously add in anything as well, Paula. So we do make available the ability to go. There is one 18-hole championship course on the island, and I was just chatting with one of our members who went the other day, and he said the course was spectacular. So golf is a possibility. It's not exactly inexpensive here because golf is kind of reserved for the elite part of Thai society, but it is possible and worth doing if you're a golfer. There are some tennis courts on the island. Our hotel does not have a tennis court on site, but it can be arranged. The only thing I'll say about tennis is it's pretty hot here for that. They also play a sport here called paddle, which has become popular, which is similar to pickleball. I know a lot of our members play pickleball. But pickleball is more of a North American phenomenon, whereas in Europe and other parts of the world, they play something similar called paddle, P-A-D-E-L, and they have some of those courts available as well. Yeah, I would say those are the main sporting activities. Of course, there's various water-based activities that you can do, jet skiing and water skiing, and I think even parasailing they do at Chaweng Beach. So those kind of activities. And a lot of our members really do like to walk around the island, and there's hiking trails that one can source out as well. And so, yeah, there's definitely things to keep you active while on holiday.
Yeah, I recall last year a number of members golfed a couple times at the course. They really enjoyed it, and a group of members brought their own paddles to play pickleball, and got a few others on board and had a little mini tournament. So there's all of that, and then your stand-up paddle boarding, kayaking,
Kayaking.
yeah. the options are limitless, really. It's just what you
Yeah.
want to do. A couple other questions have come in here from Deborah. She's asking about, do we have to book the excursions before you get there?
And the answer to that is yes. So because we have private excursions, so we have our own van and guide, as well as our own boats for the boat tours to Ang Thong and Koh Phangan and so on. We will send out an excursion selection sheet approximately. We send it out about what, 2 to 2.5 months in advance of the trip. We ask that you select everything there because that enables us to pre-book everything, because it's really important. Because, for example, if you look at our boat trips, there are all kinds of speedboats that the mass tourist groups go out on. We have the best boat on the island for sightseeing, but there's only one of them. So we book it well in advance so that we have a boat where you have great visibility and it's comfy and it's, and our members have commented, our boat is so much better than everybody else's, and it's because we booked it long in advance. So that's why it is important to book the excursions in advance. Whether or not you can book, and some people do arrive and then they say, oh, I wish I would have booked this excursion. It's possible to book in destination, but it is subject to availability. So that's why we do strongly urge our members to book all of their excursions in advance to make sure that they get the things they want to do.
Yeah, we give a wealth of information. We have an excursion document which dives into more in-depth details that are outside of the itinerary on each of the excursions with pricing and more information. So Deborah, I can share that with you if you pop me an email. There's also a question here about how many solo travelers join the LiveAways. And we've got a mix of travelers. I think we've almost had like half the group is solo travelers. Would you say, Gordon?
Yeah, not
Ish,
quite half, but quite
depends.
a few. I mean, maybe almost half.
Yeah.
So our trips are very, very popular among solo travelers because the couples that we have along are so welcome. Like this isn't exclusive to couples. It's not exclusive to solo travelers. It's just a great mix of people. And so again, we've had a lot of comments back saying how much they appreciate the fact that it's very inclusive, no matter whether you're traveling alone with your partner or with a friend or whatever. It's we go to great strides to make sure that you have fun and that you connect with other people on the trip.
Definitely. And I have another question here from Roseanne, who would be traveling with a friend, asking if there are suites with 2 beds available. The
There
short
are,
answer to that is
yes, but limited. There's a very limited number of twin bedded suites. In fact, I met with the owner of the hotel just recently because they are doing some upgrades and renovations to some of the rooms. And I said, please, put in some more rooms with twin beds. So we're hoping for next year we'll have a few more. But if you do have a travel buddy and you want to come with a friend, it's even more important that you book early so we can secure one of those twin rooms for you.
definitely.
Perfect.
Fantastic. There's a lot more questions. Like, we have a frequently asked questions on the LiveAways as it relates to the LiveAways in general and the excursions, and all of that is linked and shared through our additional information document. So if anyone is wanting to know more, feel free to pop me an email or give me a call. And or Barb, but Barb's on vacation till next week. So
Barb's
but she'll be
on
back.
vacation this week, but she'll be back next week in case you're watching the replay of this webinar. We do, as with all of our webinars, record them and we make them available to everyone who signed up. So if you're watching this as a replay, then know that you can get any additional questions that you have answered by Paula or Barb by dropping them an email at the address is shown or phone, but email is always better because I know Paula and Barb are sort of stuck to their phones pretty much all day, Monday to Friday. So drop an email and they'll get in touch with you and answer all of your questions. So I hope you'll consider joining us this time next year. As I say, this is turning into one of our most popular, well, of our programs are popular. Maybe I'm biased in saying that, but that's just how it is, because we have a great time. We have a lot of fun. We'd love to see you here in Thailand. It's very near and dear to my heart. That's why I come here every year, to get away from Canadian winter. I can't think of many better places. So whether you join us for this or one of our other LiveAway programs, or all of the programs at Wheel and Anchor, I appreciate you being a part of our community. Look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care. Have yourselves a great rest of the day. And bye-bye for now.